good morning, good afternoon. I wanted to jump on real quick. We had just finished up the Overcoming During and After the Pandemic, May's Mental Health Month, and talking about the parenting dynamics that many of you have experienced during the pandemic, as far as like just, parenting, homeschooling, having to figure out and navigate your way on how to work from home. So it was an amazing time. I had the opportunity and the pleasure to work with my colleague and peer and friend, Coach Cece. And we were staying true to the script in regards to the message and the information that we were sharing. But then I said, you know what? Me being me, I said, I just want to give this platform and an opportunity for you all to talk. And I wanted to ask, how are you doing, Paul? How are you doing, Trina? How are you doing? I wanted to see if you wanted to, you probably already been talking. You probably have talked to your friends, your family, your loved ones, your coworkers, your spouses, your significant others. But I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing and to see if you want to share your voice. I tell you the truth, it's like, so I at the time of this program, with this recording, I do not have any children. But I feel you. I empathize with you. And I was just putting something in terms of like this a tip or so as to taking the time to rest, to stop, to recenter, to regroup, and to replenish yourself. And just wanted to see if you wanted to share your thoughts and views. I can bring you on. I think I can on here. I'm not sure. But feel free, Marsha. How you doing? I just really wanted to check in and see how y'all are doing. Y'all can put it in the comment section. How are you doing today? Because I know that it's tough. I empathize with you on that. And just really wanted to give the parents a platform and an opportunity just to share and speak your voice. How are you today? Please talk back to me. And just let us know how you're doing. And one person had just responded to my post, and she said that, you know what, she has men in her lives, and she wrote in her journal how she was feeling. Another person had shared how they didn't know what to say, and they were trying to figure out what to say and how to express themselves. They was just this energy that they were not used to. They just didn't know how to express themselves. Then another person was posting about how he had put his boys to bed, and he just sat there and watched them in sadness because of the fact that he's imagining what is life like and how do they look at us or his children, his boys. They're young. I just actually shared a post from a friend of mine from my high school, I think it's from a person that blogged in Medium, and how you look at this black and brown boy, looking at him from cute to a threat, from cute to threat. How are you doing, y'all? Marsha, thank you for sharing. You said that your heart is shattered. Slept most of the day. Mother of 3 melanated millennials. Yeah. It's real. And as always, just really wanted to encourage you to either share your voice here. Likely I'm going to do a live in terms of bringing, anyone who wants to come on, and, any parents who wants to really use the opportunity to really speak your voice. Your voice matters. Your message matters. And I totally empathize with you. You're definitely valid with how you feel. Whatever you're feeling. Even if you feel nothing, or you feel numb, or you just don't have the words. It's okay how you feel. It's normal with how you feel. So if anything, everyone, make sure that y'all give yourself that grace and that courtesy. To first tell yourself that, you know what, it's okay to not be okay. Then the next thing, find a way to express yourself. You have to get the pain out. If you don't, it's going to come out anyway. your actions and your attitude, and then your behavior. And if you're still cavalier, you were able to keep it bottled up, then it can internalize, and then it becomes even worse on you. And you'll be good to no one, not even yourself, most of all. Hi, Shanetta. How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. I just really wanted to check in with you parents and see how you're doing. And to give you the opportunity, if you haven't had a chance to express yourself, please feel free to express yourself right now. Yeah, Will did say that racism isn't getting worse, it's getting filmed. I asked my dad, because he grew up in North Carolina. Hey, Denise. How you doing, Nisi? Always a pleasure seeing you. My dad grew up in North Carolina in the 40s and early 50s. And then he moved to Philly in his teens. So I guess like late 50s, early 60s, well, late 50s. And I asked them, they lived on a farm. And him and my mom actually lived in North Carolina. One was in Charlotte. My mom was in Charlotte. My dad was in Greenville, North Carolina. And they both lived on farms. And they had to work in the fields, actually. So I guess whatever land that they were on, for them to stay on the land, they had to work there, for them to stay there. Not on a farm, but well, not, whatever. Anyway, he lived on a farm. I asked him, I said, well, Dad, how do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Like, how was it back then? Like, how was it back then? What did you experience? And he was like, you know what was interesting was we didn't really experience it. Thank you, Marsha. I wanted to call it sharecroppers. So thank you for that. He was like, well, we didn't really experience it. And we were so far away from the next that if we didn't have a radio, we didn't have a TV, then we didn't really know what was going on like that. They kind of kept it that way. And he had, I guess the landowner had a son-in-law. He's like, his son-in-law was mean, but the landowner was like, look, we ain't having this, and my dad said that the landowner treated his great-grandmother, because he was cared for by his grandmother and great-grandmother, my great-grandmother Clara and my great-great-grandmother Annie. And he was like, you know what? They knew, especially with the son-in-law and how he would be mean and all that, but the landowner prevented and took a stance on that to protect all of them. And so he said that, back then it was almost like what worked for them was to not know. It was just better for them not to know what was really going on outside. And so I sat here and I thought about how I just told you a story from 1947, 1948. Yeah, this is 2020 at the time of this recording. So my heart goes out for you. I really want to cry, to be honest with you. And it's okay to cry, everybody. It's okay if you're shedding tears. It is not the time, honestly, to have to be so... Well, you do, but you have to give yourself that moment in that space to be upset, to cry, and to be sad. And so that you can now rest, to then recenter, regroup, and to replenish yourself. Hey, OG Reg. Reg, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in, everyone. Hey, Miss Jordan, thank you for tuning in as well. I really appreciate y'all time. I just really wanted y'all to share this space. Just want to ask you how you were doing. Share here. I just want to give y'all some tips and to know that it's okay with however you're feeling. If you're sad, mad, pissed off, confused, at a loss, it's normal with how you feel. Please find outlets to express yourself to the point of it being constructive. And to also make sure that you find a way and an outlet to release, and to also find a way. Honestly, I posted this today. I've been trying to pick out the right post. And I found this one. I thank you, Marsha, for giving me all the likes and hearts. I appreciate it. I found a post where I said, find opportunity in every difficulty instead of finding difficulty in every opportunity. Everything is a shift in perspective. It's real of what's going on right now. And I try to look at everything so that I can come and say something. I'm not really quick. I was never one to ever be quick to say something. My dad used to say that. He was like, I know all my kids, and, Tyrone's like this, and Charles is like that, and Linwood is like this. And you, my dear, you are one to take your time. You are too calculated. You're not saying a thing until you got all the information that you feel is necessary for you to conclude and make a decision or say something. So I would read the post. I'm talking to clients. I'm going with my own feelings and thoughts, and just to conclude and to put something together for you. Please give yourself that grace and that mercy and that courtesy right now to allow yourself to emote, to feel, and to tell yourself that it's okay. Give yourself permission to not be okay. Give yourself permission to feel however you feel. Find an outlet. Use this time, this difficult time. Find opportunity in it. Let this not just be another conversation. Someone said one time, they said, you know what? Usually it's that 7 to 8 day rule. We up in arms for 7 days. And then the 8th day, it's like it's back to business as usual. If we really are tired, we will stop. We will stop doing what we're doing and do something different to get a different result. Who made calls to Minneapolis? Who are going to not stop keeping this conversation going? Who's going to continue with this conversation? That's how you start. That's where really you start to see the progress and the opportunity to make some changes. Shift your perspective and your mindset. Be mad, but get to a place where you had your moment. You're not stuck there. And don't feel hopeless. Have your moment. You feel hopeless, you feel hopeless. How you feel is how you feel. It's truth, Facts are in your feelings, really. Once you have your moment, don't jump over that moment. Give yourself that moment. And then inspiration comes. Ideas come. I always tell my clients when I want them to free associate. And free association it just means that no holds barred, no question, no restrictions, no limitations. Say how you feel. So you ask yourself a question, and whatever comes to mind, you write it down. That's how you tap into your subconsciousness. So I want you to free associate. You have to make sense of your subconscious self is trying to make sense of stuff, of everything. Because we just as human nature would have it, when we have question marks, it bothers us so much. We have to have answers. So simply ask your inner self, how am I feeling? When you think that it's obvious, sometimes it truly is not, if you don't really have an understanding of you in a more deeper level. So ask yourself, how are you really feeling? So that your subconscious or your inner self can tell you. So that you know what your feelings are saying and where is it taking you. And when you're able to start to find outlets to express, to release the pain and the suffering and the anger and the confusion and the sadness and the hopelessness and the despair and the helplessness, whatever word you want to use to describe how you feel, you'll find that inspiration comes, hope comes, promise comes. And maybe it may not come at that moment. Give yourself that grace and that mercy. It's okay. It will come. It always does. It always does. Yeah, we're talking the same story, even 40, 50, 60, 70 plus years. And yes, it's very upsetting of how is it that we're talking about this now, right? And at the same time, we are equipped. We are still resilient. We are still resilient. We got through so much. Yes, we just wish that it could just stop. We are tired. Yes, tired of dying. Tired. Be honest with yourself. That's another thing. Just be honest with yourself. Don't try to keep it in or act like, you're not fazed. speak up. Be honest with yourself. Be real. Be real with yourself. And you know what? You don't have to always be real with everybody. Meaning, like, you don't have to go in there and try to now find people, find them, and then you want to express yourself and how you feel. No. If anything, first start with yourself. My God, you will get to see so much more out of this whole thing if you really now put it in decency and in order. And the decency and in order is to first start with yourself. Rest, recenter, regroup, and replenish yourself. So that now, as you get to know how you're feeling, how you feel is how you feel, give yourself that permission to feel how you feel. Extend the grace and courtesy to yourself with how you're feeling, with how you are feeling. Find outlets that are constructive to get the pain, to release the pain and the sorrow and the sadness that you have. And then from there, allow yourself to go through this so that now the inspiration, the answers come. Believe that the answers will come. Believe that the inspiration will come. It always does. Remind yourself that you are resilient. You're strong. Shift your perspective. Do the free association. Find out how you're really feeling so that perhaps the direction and inspiration can carry you on what you can do and what you need to do in this equation, in this situation. And lastly, as you do all this, to raise your voice and to speak your voice, find places like this to be able to now use the platform to now find opportunity in difficulty. Find opportunity in difficulty. Hey, Bleak, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Karina, Charles, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate your time. Parents, I just really wanted to check in with you. We did the overcoming during and after the pandemic and, taught about what you can do during the pandemic, how you're homeschooling, how you're working from home, how you got to work together with your spouse, trying to save your marriage here, trying to save your family here. But I definitely wanted to, because while that was scripted, meaning that, we had that already in the books to talk about it, I definitely wanted to address what is going on right now. Marsha has someone inboxed me today saying they felt I was misusing my business platform by sharing my feelings about all of this. Okay. Haters gonna hate. I'm glad that you still decided to speak your voice. I'm glad that you still decided to go ahead and share and use your platform on your daggone page and express how you feel. Because guess what? There are people who are watching who didn't feel any type of way. That's the thing. We're always thinking about who needs this. And when we do have people who have to have something to say, I can give it to you on a twofold thing. When you have people who have something to say, they feel some type of way about themselves. Always remember that. Always remember that. When we say stuff, when we do things, and we always say it's about someone else, it really has nothing to do with the person that we're projecting to. It always has to do with back to the person who's projecting. Always. So maybe they feel the type of way that they weren't doing it. They weren't using they say, dang, Marsha's smart. She's using this platform, to, her business platform, to express her feelings and use it to her advantage. The other side is, get that person, the ones who need it, who is like, dang, thank you, Marsha, for expressing yourself, because I was at a loss for words. I didn't know how to express myself or what to do. Thank you so much for showing up and setting the example and paving the way. So it's always a twofold thing. But just remember, when people are projecting, it's always pointing back to them. So I'm glad you shared. We need to do whatever we need to do to get the pain and the suffering out. If I can dare challenge you all to say this, use that pain to your advantage. Use that suffering to your advantage. How in the world do you do that? When you sit, Jesus, Lord have mercy, God. If you sit in that suffering, in that pain, a lot of times we always avoiding pain because we don't want the pain. But I tell you the truth, when you allow yourself to really sit in, to get an idea or to feel or to know, I tell you the truth, that inspiration absolutely comes. The ideas, the answers come. When you allow yourself to just let life be, let it just play out, to sit in it, I can't tell you how long to sit in it or what sitting looks like. When I say sit in the pain, is let it be. Y'all in pain right now, being a parent, looking at your child, whether your child is black, brown, white, pink, and you're looking at the way of the world is today, or at least in this country, and you have questions that you don't have answers to, or you think you don't. This is the time to allow yourself to just sit. To just sit. That's the word I have for you today. Just sit in it. You'll know how long it takes for you to sit in it. And let the answers come. To let the answers come. Especially and specifically for you. So please, everybody, give yourself permission to be okay and give yourself permission to not be okay. Find time to rest. You determine how long you want to rest. But give yourself that courtesy to rest, to recenter, to regroup, and to replenish yourself. Don't come out here, go out there being depleted. And depleted. When you don't have anything left to give. When you are at a place where you just are at a loss for words and you just don't know what to do nothing. Stand still. Look up. Know that He is God. Find the inspiration that you need to carry you through during this time. Tell yourself that you are resilient. I will dare even say, a lot of times y'all will ask, well, maybe I should shield my child. And I'm sure y'all are at a point where you may not be saying that now anymore. A lot of times we want to shield our children. We don't want them to know what's going on out there. We want to paint the picture of what we wish it could be or what we wish it was. The best thing that you can do for you and for your children is to be honest. Because then you allow the opportunity for them to formulate decisions. You always, a lot of times parents think that their kids can't handle, but y'all know your kids. Y'all know your kids. Give them that courtesy to grow, to start making sense of things. And of course, it depends on what age we're talking about. But I'm talking about from even as young as 5. You can start helping them to make sense of things, of what is real, so that they don't have this image of something opposite of what is real out there. Prepare them now. Be honest and real with them. Sit down and speak their language of what how they will get it and take it and understand. And you be present with them. That will be such an enlightenment and I guess like a release for all of you. When you're able to have that real conversation with your children of what really is. And to be there for them when they have their emotions and they just don't know what to do with them. And maybe you're at a place where you're like, well, I don't even know how to deal with my emotions. Here's a beautiful opportunity to find opportunity in difficulty, to look at it from a different perspective, that perhaps it may bring the two of you closer. Inspiration may come, ideas may come. You never know unless you just try and do it. And don't worry, I'm here for you. Always inbox me. Let me know how I can best support you and serve you at this time. But you can do it. I believe in you. Please believe in yourself. It's going to be okay. We got through so many other things so many times. We're going to get through this as well. So please don't beat yourself up. Give yourself credit. You don't know what you don't know. So with all that said, just extend the grace and the courtesy to yourself. You're learning along the way. This is actually serving us for us to grow, to cultivate, to become whatever we're called to become in this earth. And that you leave an indelible mark. You have your place and your space here on this earth. And certainly this situation and the next plays part in you becoming and making your contribution to this world more than what you realize that you were to contribute. Marsha said, you already know they learned something today. They learned today, didn't they? They think twice about going to your inbox. They learned something else about you today in your response. I know that's right, Marsha. Go ahead. Got your toenails done and everything. Shoot, I'm jealous. You're very welcome, Marsha. Look, everyone, parents, my heart goes out to you. Give yourself that grace and courtesy. Rest, recenter, regroup, replenish. Be okay with not being okay. Your feelings are valid. How you feel is how you feel. Don't let anybody take that away from you. You don't have to look around, different Facebook groups or, social media groups to try to find trouble to shut them down. Rather, start taking the time to get to know you and what your emotions and feelings are saying. Sometimes you're just going to have to sit in that suffering and pain sometimes. So then that will help us to now really use our mind accordingly. How can we use our mind? How can we really gather our thoughts and really make sense with things? We don't allow ourselves to be in position to grow and to get to know whatever it is that we need to know. In other words, we don't really learn from everything being great and good. And that is the issue and the problem as well. We were so conditioned and programmed to think that everything is supposed to be hunky-dory. And then and so we have this ideal image of what life is supposed to be. And then when reality hits us and smacks us in the face all the time, of course we're going to get upset because we thought that the ideal was supposed to be the ideal. We thought that was our reality. But reality can be so opposite of our ideal image. So now just get to a place that you just have to accept for what it is. You can always have your ideal to become, but you may have to accept what the reality is right now and being present with what's going on right now. And sometimes it takes challenges and difficulty and situations and circumstances that can be quite unfavorable. But just know that it all does play part for your good overall. It does play part with your resilience. It does play part in helping you to now find opportunity in difficulty. So look for the opportunity in these difficult times. The opportunity of you actually talking with your children and being real with them. And y'all come up with plans together on how to take next steps and what's going on, especially as we're opening up the economy, especially what's going on right now. You may never know how that may breed more closeness and connectedness and togetherness, that y'all are able to have a conversation and you're setting them up now, your children now, with the right mindset to deal with what's out there. So I can go on and on. I really just wanted you guys just to have this opportunity just to talk and share. Please journal. Journaling is always effective. So, you need an outlet, you need a release. Go into these social groups, not the ones that you're trying to find, you're trying to raise Cain. I'm talking about the ones that can support you. Y'all can rally together, connect, brainstorm. And just, again, use this opportunity to really take care of yourself. It's okay to not be okay. We're going to be okay soon.